The last few days for Trump have been marred by a not-so-subtle refusal to engage on the issue of Epstein. Case in point,
what did Jeffrey Epstein mean when he said you knew about the girls? If the Epstein case is a hoax, why are you calling for more investigations?
But finally, tonight on Air Force One, Trump was confronted with questions on Epstein that he deigned to answer. I'm going to show a few individually, so stick around to the end because you're going to want to see them all. But here's the first one, and if you already thought that Donald Trump had little patience on these Epstein questions, that pales in comparison to what he does here.
Sir, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman, was on CBS News. She was talking about how the files should be released. We anticipate that a vote will happen in the House. I know you wrote about the investigation today.
I don't care about it, released or not. What I think you should do, if you're going to do it, then you have to go into Epstein's friends. This Reid Hoffman spent a lot of time on the island. I was never on his island. Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. You're going to have to look into his friends because, if they're going to do that, and I think the perfect guy to do it would be Southern District, somebody like Jay Clayton. I understand that's who's been assigned.
But does the congresswoman have a point, though?
Does Marjorie Taylor Greene have a point?
Does she have a point, though?
I know nothing about her.
On the release of the files. All the files.
Well, they can have whatever they want. They already do. I think they have 50,000 pages already. Look, this is a Democrat hoax. This is a hoax put out by the Democrat, and a few Republicans have gone along with it because they're weak and ineffective. But this is a Democrat hoax to get away from the fact that they just lost the shutdown and they've lost the election. Jeffrey Epstein and I had a very bad relationship for many years. But he also saw strength because I was president. So he dictated a couple of memos to himself. Give me a break. You're going to find out what did he know with respect to Bill Clinton, with respect to the head of Harvard, with respect to all of those people that he knew, including J.P. Morgan Chase.
Sir,
Yeah, Jennifer, go ahead. Go ahead.
In the file, Venezuela,
Why not acting as a quiet, McGee?
That's him yelling quiet at a reporter for daring ask a follow-up while Trump was busy diffusing responsibility off of himself and onto a bunch of random Democrats for the Epstein scandal. Because that's the new plan, as far as Trump is concerned, to play make-believe that the files that he's refused to release for 10 months don't implicate him, they actually implicate a bunch of Democrats, which of course explains why he won't release it, because he wants to protect Bill Clinton. He goes on.
Mr. President, have you ruled out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell?
I haven't even thought about it. I mean, I haven't thought about it for months. Maybe I haven't thought about it at all. You're just asking me a question. But I don't talk about that. I don't rule it in or out. I don't even think about it.
Now, I'm not the president, but I feel like if I was the president and I was asked if I would pardon a convicted sex trafficker and rapist, my answer wouldn't be that I haven't thought about it. My answer would be no. And the fact that Trump won't come out and say no suggests that he's considering pardoning her. And the reason for that is pretty simple. It's the same reason that she was moved to a minimum security prison in Texas, because the information that she has could certainly hurt Donald Trump. In fact, we just found out days ago, based on the emails released by the Epstein estate, that Ghislaine Maxwell lied to Trump's Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche when she told him that Trump had never been to Epstein's house, despite an email from Epstein to Maxwell admitting exactly that. And yet, as far as Trump and Blanche are concerned, no issue whatsoever. They're not going to move Maxwell back to the prison that she came from in Florida, and the reason is because she wasn't moved because she told the truth. It was the exact opposite. She was moved expressly because she lied. Trump was just looking for someone to back him up, and she got rewarded for that. So if you're wondering whether Maxwell will get pardoned, just ask yourself why she's already gotten so much favorable treatment, and then you might get your answer. Trump continues.
Why were you, or why was your team encouraging Congresswoman Boebert and Congresswoman Mace to not pursue this?
Because we think it's bad to talk about it because it gets away from the subject of how well the Republicans are doing. We have the greatest economy. We have the largest investment ever made in our country's history. We have all of these great things happen. We have very little inflation, whereas he had record-setting, the biggest inflation in history. All of these things are good. And when you talk about the Epstein hoax, what happens is you're not talking about how well we've done. Mr. President, and that's the whole purpose behind them. They want to waste people's time, and some of the dumber Republicans like that.
So the reason that Trump won't humor the Epstein files is because it takes away from his other accomplishments. Let me pose this question. Do you think that maybe if you do the one simple thing that nearly the entire country has been asking for 10 months, that would be a more effective way to get them to stop talking about it so that everyone can move on to your big, beautiful accomplishments? Don't you think that maybe your cagey, weird unwillingness to release these files might be the literal reason why people are so focused on it, to the detriment of everything else? And beyond that, not that it's worth it to humor all of Trump's lies, but on the accomplishment front, let's consider what he promised on the campaign trail and what he's actually done. That he would end the Russia-Ukraine war, didn't happen. That he would lower costs, didn't happen. That he would protect earned benefits, didn't happen. That he would make IVF free, didn't happen. That he would lower inflation, didn't happen. Honestly, maybe talking about the Epstein files is a net positive for Trump because his actual accomplishments in office aren't exactly resume-worthy. And finally, Trump says this.
I will say this. If they had anything, they would have used it before the election. Okay? I can't tell you what they put in since the election. But if they had anything, you don't think they would have used it before the election? They would have gladly used it before the election.
Now, I think this is a point worth discussing. Why not release anything if they had it before the election? Two reasons. One, Ghislaine Maxwell's prosecution was ongoing until her conviction in 2022, and then her appeal was ongoing until 2025. I know that we live in a world where the DOJ is completely weaponized, but a normal Justice Department wasn't going to release the files during an ongoing prosecution and risk undermining their own case. Second, even if there was an opportunity to release anything, the decision rested with one person, Merrick Garland, the most cautious, circumspect, wrong man for the moment Attorney General that we've ever had. Garland's principal focus was not seeking justice without fear or favor, it was avoiding the optics of politicization. So color me 0% surprised that Merrick Garland's DOJ opted to avoid releasing any files in which Trump's name is quite obviously mentioned enough that Trump himself put a team of FBI agents to make sure that his name is flagged and redacted. Frankly, if you ask me, Garland should have made sure to release those files, but he didn't, and you can add that to the list of missed opportunities by a failure of an attorney general. So look, the reality is that Trump is clearly dissembling. The deflections, the obfuscations, the diffusions of responsibility, the panic, it all points to one very obvious truth. Trump knows that these files are egregiously damaging. The only reason that he would be willing to sustain months and months and months of the most miserable press possible can only be because the only thing worse than that is what's actually in the files. And he knows that. The guy is a marketer. He is well aware. He's a TV entertainer. But he's made that calculation, and his thought process certainly speaks volumes, which is all the more reason that the rest of us should continue to beat this drum, because he wouldn't be in such a panic if there wasn't something to panic about. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.